everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to test out this stained glass kit. I got it from Hobby Lobby. It was $19.99. Let's see what it includes. I haven't opened this yet. So 12 pieces of pre-cut glass, 2 jump rings, 1 metal chain, 1/4 inch copper foil tape. Ooh, that's going to be thick. Gel flux, generic, stained glass solder, generic, flux brush, which is basically a paintbrush, burnishing tool. I mean, that looks like a nice burnishing tool. 1 pattern sheet, 1 instruction. Okay, soldering iron not included, obviously, because that would be weird if they gave you a soldering iron every time you purchase one of these kits. Oh my gosh, so my studio's in the basement, and you can probably hear the sub pump going because it's raining out right now, so hopefully that's not too annoying. All right, here is our flux. Ugh, okay. Yep, that's gel flux. I picked this one because of all the options that they had at the store. This was the cutest, I suppose, but just looking at this initially, those jump rings are in the wrong spot. So when I make this, I will not be putting those there. Jump ring should be in a seam right here, right here. Never put your jump rings on foil. Right here, or right here. Okay, nice little roll of foil. We'll see what the quality's like. Okay, burnishing tool. Paintbrush for flux. That's a cute little chain. Oh, I like this chain. This is pretty. I need to find more of it. Solder. Is this the pattern sheet? Is it really this small? I don't know. Does it have dimensions on here? Oh my gosh, it literally doesn't say the size of this piece. I was expecting it to not be this small. Let's see, additional items needed. Soldering iron, yes. Metal pins, I mean, that's optional. Safety glasses, yep. Heat resistant board, yes. Clamps, you do not need clamps. What do you need clamps for? Pliers, oh, for opening the jump ring to attach the, and gloves, okay. Note, glass is hand cut and therefore you may need to adjust pieces to fit as close as possible to line. It's more important to have the glass fit. If it's hand cut, shouldn't they be fitting these beforehand? Because here's the thing. They don't give you, well, obviously they don't give you a grinder to adjust the pieces if you need, but the other thing they could give you is like a sanding stone. They don't do that either, so I guess additional items needed, grinder. Okay. So let's look at our pieces. I mean, this kit was only $20, so I'm not expecting the best quality glass, especially if they're giving us pink. Yeah, so these are a little rough. I would not just go ahead and straight foil these. See that? Like, that's not gonna foil very well. And the nice bump up here. Okay. Nice scratches on the glass. Okay, I'm so confused. Is this not the pattern sheet? This is not the pattern sheet. They didn't... Okay. Let me compose myself. Okay, so this piece is not quite as large as the picture, but it's definitely larger than the pattern sheet. So I guess this isn't meant to be your layout pattern. It's just showing you how to set it up. Why couldn't they give you a full-size image? That I don't understand. Because it literally says, using the pattern sheet as a reference, okay, reference is fine, reference photo, but it says place the glass pieces on the appropriate spot. On. Anyways, semantics. I don't know why I'm hating on this so much. In theory, these kits are a great idea if you are just like a crafter who wants, like a general art crafter who just wants to try different crafts and you don't want to invest in all of the tools and supplies that it takes. But this would be very frustrating if you didn't know what you were doing because this fit is so poor. So I need to take these pieces to the grinder for sure. Okay, let's see if I can make this work. Okay, so this is going to be my starting piece, and I'm going to fit all my other pieces around it. Okay, so I just finished grinding it to fit. I just kind of eyeballed all the pieces. Now, if you're not very good at that, this is going to be a frustrating little kit because I had to grind every single piece to fit its shape. You might be wondering why I put a piece of blue tape here. Since this doesn't give me an accurate sized pattern to lay out my pieces on, I don't want to end up with a wonky little lotus, which is probably already going to be a little bit wonky, but this straight line is so I can line up the bottoms of these petals. It does look a little better now that all the pieces fit together. So much better. So much better. This piece is actually going to be a little cute. Now, I could use my own foil, but I want to use everything that they gave me in the kit. So I'm going to use the foil. I'm going to use only this to burnish. So after I ground everything down, I rinsed it in water, but I'm going to wash each piece with alcohol just to make sure all the dust is off. All right, let's see how foiling goes. This foil has some thick backing. Okay, the foil feels very thin. The stickiness is not quite Edco stickiness. I sound like a supply snob. I do not handle loose foil very well. My foil rolls are always in a foil holder. This is a pretty big burnisher. I like this burnishing tool, it's fine. I'm really curious what brand this foil is, or if it's just, I don't even know, but it's very thin. Okay, I really like this tool for burnishing the sides like this. This one's nice. I'll keep this. Okay. Beautiful. I really dislike how thin this foil is. Okay, so I'm just finishing up these last few pieces, and you can see, because this foil is so thin, it's cracking in the slightest of curves. So I have to go patch that up now. But, I mean, you get what you pay for. This kit was $20, so all the quality of everything in here is just not the greatest. But this leads me to another point. This is why I want to reiterate that you do not want to put your jump rings on foil. Especially, I mean, now, normally you would put a nice edge bead around, but if you look at this, they basically just tinned the edges. There's no bead on there. So I guarantee that that jump ring is just gonna rip through the foil and the solder. Like, it's not even, it's terrible. All right, let's check in with the instructions now. Part 3, flex. Once all pieces of glass have been foiled, place them all back into their respective place on the pattern sheet. I cannot do that because the pattern sheet they provided is too small. It's fine. Leave about a 1/16 inch gap between each piece. Interesting. There are plenty of gaps where the solder is going to fall. The solder finds its way through to the other side. You don't have to intentionally leave those gaps. But we're going to pin this in place. So even though it looks like these pieces fit perfectly together, there's still a little gap there. And the solder is just gonna fill through. Tinning, what are we tinning? Once you've created all your solder lines, blah, 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 it's time to finish soldering the outer edge. Oh, that's what they recommend the clamps for. I was wondering why you needed clamps. I just hold it with my hand. You do not need a perfect beaded line on the edges. I disagree. Just tinning your edges looks terrible. Refer to display on cover of box for suggested ring placement. I will not take your suggestion. I guess it's time to solder. Alright, just finished soldering. Now it just says clean with soap and water, so I'm just going to use Dawn. I really want to know what this solder was. Was it 60-40? Was it lead-free? I don't think it was lead-free. It wasn't lead-free because the box said contains lead. But it wasn't the worst solder, but it like, in some spots where it dried, or not dried, in some spots as it solidified, it got a weird matte spot on it. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it'll still be there after I clean it, but the solder looked really dull as it solidified. I don't know, it was weird. Nice and clean. Here's the finished piece. You can see what I'm talking about here, how when the solder solidified, it got like these matte spots on it. It's kind of weird. I've had that happen when I've used lead-free solder before, but I mean, I don't know what was going on. Yeah, here's the finished piece. The instructions don't say anything about waxing it, but I'm going to wax it because that's what I do. Yeah, I added little decorative balls because I felt like it. The jump rings they gave were so large. Okay, I did it. Okay, so here is the final piece. Am I going to recommend that you run to the craft store and purchase this kit? No, I'm not. Am I being extra critical? Absolutely. With that said, because this kit was only $20, it's not the worst. Like, yeah, the quality of the materials in the kit are awful. The foil, terrible. So in the instructions, it said, glass is hand cut and therefore you may need to adjust pieces to fit as close as possible to line up correctly. It's more important to have the glass fit as close together as possible than to follow the pattern sheet perfectly. That's a loaded statement. Because this is a free-form pattern, like it's an irregular shape, yes, you don't have to follow the pattern completely, but if you are doing like a geometric shape or a circular piece, you want to follow your pattern precisely. So, like I said, when I opened up the glass pieces, they didn't have any sharp edges, but some of the edges had like little jut outs, little bumps, and the pieces didn't fit perfectly. So I had to grind every single piece, and if I didn't, the solder lines would not be consistent. So I mean, you could get away with not grinding anything, but then you're gonna have a super wonky piece. And the solder, it wasn't terrible to work with, but as it solidified, it did weird things. It's not as noticeable now that I waxed it, but I mean, the solder and flux, not the best quality, but it did the job. So I mean, if you want to try out one of these kits for $20, it's a fun little project, even though it was a little frustrating at first. I still can't get over the fact that they don't give you an accurate sized pattern sheet. Like, that's just silly. And like I said, these glass kits are a fun idea for like crafters who like to try every single art craft in the world. It would be an even better kit if it was a little more expensive and had better quality materials so that the user has a better experience with the piece. If somebody buys this kit as an introduction to stained glass, being like, oh, I think I want to try stained glass, see if I like it, they're probably not going to like it very much because this kit is not the best. The more I look at it, it's a cute piece, so that is my review. Thanks for listening.